Welcome to the ultimate guide for attending LEGO conventions. For those of you who are looking to attend your first LEGO convention, or maybe those that just need a refresher, my name is Brad and I'm making this multi-part video series on my YouTube channel to give you all the information that you'll need to know to attend your first LEGO convention. In this first part of the series, I covered what an actual LEGO convention is and the difference between public and private days to help you kind of know which one to choose. And today in this video, I'm going to be going through some of the things that you need to remember to bring to a LEGO convention. And after I've gone through the list of things that I recommend you bring to a LEGO convention, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks about building or displaying your LEGO MOCs to ensure your success at the hall. So for starters, here are some of the things I think that you should bring to a LEGO convention as a first-time attendee or pretty much a non-content creator attendee. The first thing I will say is cash. Actual money, not your credit cards. So while a lot of the vendors at the actual convention will accept card, a lot of them do prefer cash, and if you do have cash in hand, you might be able to make a little bit more of a deal. They probably won't charge you tax or anything like that. And if you're a full private day attendee and you're attending the yard sale, most of those vendors there, most of the people selling at the yard sale do only want cash. At my last LEGO convention, which is BRICKLOVER Chicago, I personally didn't bring enough cash for the convention because, as I said, some of the vendors charge tax if you didn't pay with cash, so I wanted to save some money and pay them with cash. And then I got to the yard sale on a Saturday night and everybody there only takes cash and I just didn't have enough, so that's one to note for next time. The next thing I recommend you guys definitely should bring would be an extra bag, like an extra tote bag or something like that, one that you could just stuff in your backpack and carry it around. When I was going around the convention center last year, I had my backpack that had like my laptop and my camera and some other equipment in it, like a water bottle, that kind of thing. However, when I was buying Lego there, it didn't actually fit in my backpack, and at one point I was walking around carrying Lego sets for no reason. Especially if you're going to go to the yard sale, you are going to be buying stuff. You have no idea how many things you'll be buying. It is almost impossible to hold Lego sets there, give people cash, and look around at the yard sale. I forgot to bring a bag to the yard sale last year, and it was a huge regret for me. I will not be forgetting this year because it will just make my experience so much better. Speaking of things that you should put in your backpack, like I already mentioned, bring a water bottle. You guys, you need to drink water when you're at these LEGO conventions. I am so guilty for letting myself get dehydrated. Bring your water. You are going to be walking around and talking to people for 4 days straight. Enough said. And in terms of talking to people and being around other people for 4 days straight, I cannot stress this one enough. I know especially the ladies who are attending the LEGO conventions cannot stress this enough. Toiletry products. Make sure you're bringing a toothbrush, a deodorant, gum, breath mints, etc. You are going to be walking around a convention center for 4 days. You want to make sure that you're smelling the best that you can. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. Plan accordingly. Make sure you're taking a shower in the morning. Take a shower at night. You're going to be sweaty. It's okay. We all are like that. But definitely make sure you don't forget some of those key basic things about personal hygiene. You're also going to want to bring some snacks and some meals. When you're at a LEGO convention, sometimes it's very hard to sneak away and actually get food. You know, it's just so exciting. You don't want to leave the hall because there's just LEGO everywhere. It's stimulus overload. Next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock at night. You haven't had a single meal all day. You're on the verge of passing out. Keep some snacks, some protein bars, whatever it is in your backpack. I know I need to do this one a little bit more this year. And of course, also bring comfy shoes. You are walking around a convention center for a couple hours to a couple days at a time. They are cement floors. Even with comfy shoes, your feet are probably going to be extremely tired by the end, but you can do what you can to mitigate that with a good pair of comfy shoes. Now, for those of you who are attending the LEGO convention and maybe you're a content creator or have an online presence, here are some additional things that I would recommend that you bring just to make your life a little bit easier. So for starters, business cards. If you're going around and networking with people and chatting with people, talking about your experience online and listening to theirs, there's nothing worse than at the end of the conversation, you go, hey, what's your YouTube channel? And like you tell me, I'm not going to remember unless I put it in my phone right there. So if I whip out a business card or you whip out a business card, that's the perfect way. I'm going to take that card and make sure I go on my phone afterwards and subscribe, follow you, whatever that might be. Like, business cards are just a great way to meet people, and it's like, so it's not awkward. Like if you're having a great conversation with somebody, you go, hey, I'd love to stay in touch. Here's my card. Then they have all your social media, and it's not like, hey, you should follow me on Instagram, and you're like standing over watching them. So business cards are a really great one. I'd also recommend stickers as well. Stickers were a huge part of the convention when I went to Brickworld last year. Back in my day, we had sig figs, which a little bit more on that later, and we used to trade them around, but now there's stickers, which is really cool, which is most people have like a sticker of their sig fig, and that was really cool to go around and try and collect a bunch of different people's at Brickworld Chicago. I didn't have any last year, but I've just ordered 500 for this year, and I'm very, very excited about it. As I already mentioned, sig figs. Sig figs are your your signature minifigure, they're figures that you've designed to look like you. These are great to bring to a LEGO convention as well. Last year I made a bunch to give them away and distribute. I still have a few left. I'm prioritizing some stickers and some other things this year, but I definitely will have some sig figs to give away because it's really fun to do some sig fig trades with people. So if you're able, bulk order your sig fig parts now. I started in May last year to make sure I had all the parts ready for Brick World Chicago 2023. I'd highly encourage you to do that as well. Of course, if you are an influencer, you're going to want to bring your camera equipment. That's anything like your camera, batteries, extra chargers, extra camera if you have one, your hard drive, your phone, any battery packs for your phone, microphones, memory cards, a laptop. You are at a full weekend of LEGO, and if you are a LEGO content creator, this is a perfect time to be making LEGO content. So you're going to want to make sure that everything you want to make content on, you have the necessary tools and supplies to do so. This next one is one that I personally never thought of until last year when it would have been really helpful to have, but that is Sharpies and pens. If you are an influencer or have any kind of online presence, people will be coming up to you and they will be asking for a picture. Some people will be asking you to sign stuff. Even if you don't have much of a presence online, you just have some friends at the convention, often people will get like an event kit or a set of the day and they'll just get all their friends and people around to sign it. So it's super helpful if you have a Sharpie or a pen on hand. I cannot remember the amount of times last year that somebody would ask me for a signature and I just didn't have anything to write it with. I learned this one from Just Too Good. She always carried a Sharpie with her everywhere she went, and that was like so handy. I'm like, oh, you can tell that you are a successful YouTuber because that is something I never would have thought of. All right, so now that we've gone through pretty much everything that I can think of off the top of my head for you to bring to a LEGO convention to ensure your success, let's talk about some tips and tricks for displaying your LEGO MOCs at the convention. And this counts for those who are either displaying by themselves or with a lug. So just in terms of general tips about MOCs, for starters, big is notice. When you're at a LEGO convention and there's like stimulus overload, there's millions of LEGO pieces, it's going to be hard to have your LEGO build stand out. And I will say a lot of people are always gravitate towards the larger builds. Large doesn't always mean better, but in this case, like big builds do tend to be noticed more. So take that information as you will. In terms of also getting your build noticed, things like lights and movement also really help get it noticed. So lights, for example, most LEGO conventions have one night where they turn all the lights off in the convention hall and it's just darkness except for the lights on a LEGO creation. So if you have your LEGO build lit up, that looks really cool and it looks really awesome. And of course, even if you have lights on during the day, it's still a really great opportunity for people to just see your build and be attracted to it and more drawn to it. Movement, of course, is a big one as well. You'll always see huge crowds around like the Great Ball contraptions or LEGO roller coasters and things like that because people love looking at things that move. It gets them all excited and it just like draws people to it. This one might be controversial and might be tiring to some, but I can't stress it enough how cool it is for the people who are attending the LEGO conventions, especially the public day attendees. But standing there and talking about your LEGO creation is not overrated. People are coming to these LEGO conventions, especially on the public days, to see the amazing LEGO builds. So it's great. Yeah, it's cool if there's a LEGO build there, you look at it for a few minutes, but like they didn't build it. They're only looking at it for a few seconds, a few minutes before they move on to the next one. So they may not notice a lot of the detail or the passion or the story that you put into your build. So if you're standing there and talking to people about your creation, giving them tips and tricks, insight into the build and like just stories about it, that's going to make a really memorable experience for them. I've lost track of the times over the years that I've seen kids absolutely marveling at like a build, and then when they see you, the builder, there talking about your build, they're just blown away that someone like them could also do this build. So if you're able to stand there and talk to your LEGO creation, you know, be prepared to answer the same question over and over and over again, because that's how conventions go, but like have the answers ready if possible. Like, if you're able to, like, figure out how long it took you to build, how many pieces are in it, like what was the inspiration behind it, like how did you get it there, where do you display it at home, how much Lego do you have? Like, think about commonly asked questions and then do try and come up with an answer for them. You're going to answer them over and over and over again the entire weekend, but it really makes kids and the parents there excited and happy, and it's just a good experience overall. And of course, this next one here is a little bit of a sad one, and I hope this doesn't happen to you, but I would say do try and prepare for a loss. Obviously, your Lego is on display for 20,000 or so people to see. It's front and center. You might have minifigures and stuff like that, so plan accordingly. If you have a very rare and expensive minifigure, you may not want to put it in your MOC. You may not want to put it front and center because unfortunately, sometimes figures or extra pieces do walk off. Although conventions do try and keep the public back from the MOCs, like these kind of things just happen. You just have to plan for it. At the end of the day, it's not cool. You should never steal from another LEGO convention, but it's it's Lego and it could walk off. It could be an accident. It could be a 3-year-old just grabbing something and walking around with it, and their parents don't even notice, and by the time they do, they have no idea where it came from. Or it could be intentional, and either way it sucks, but just kind of prepare for a loss and plan accordingly. This one also sucks to say, but pack your MOCs well. Maybe put them in plastic bags to transport, maybe add some bubble mailers, maybe add them in nice boxes, because when moving Lego, sometimes it's not fun, and trust me, you don't want to pack it so poorly that you spend the entire time before the LEGO convention opens rebuilding your MOC. That's not a fun experience for you or for anyone else attending, so definitely pack well, maybe put in those plastic bags or boxes like I mentioned, and during the building process, if you're planning to take these to a LEGO convention, try and account for that in the build. You know, don't build like a diorama that's 3 48 by 48 base plates long, all connected together that can't easily be taken apart. How are you supposed to carry that kind of MOC? But if you build them in each section and they easily pull apart and you can carry them easy like that, that's perfect. So build for ease of transports, and of course bring some extra parts as well in case some do get lost or stolen, or just when you're rebuilding you're just missing a few parts. Like often people will bring like the common pieces that they need to actually put their MOC together, just in case something like that happens. If you are planning to kind of hang out there and stand by your MOCs the whole time, definitely bring a chair or maybe even a rubber mat to stand on. Bringing a chair is super helpful because there are chairs around, but sometimes there's not enough, sometimes they're not super comfy, and a rubber mat, as I mentioned, if you're standing in one place on cement for like 12 hours, your feet are going to be sore no matter how comfy your shoes are. And in terms of bringing your actual MOC to a convention, one of my tips would be bring it once or to a few conventions, but then don't keep bringing it every single year to keep builds refreshed. It's really nice when you go to a LEGO convention, especially if you're going to the same one year over year, and every year it's new things. We all know that there are some pillars in the LEGO community, like pillar MOCs, that you'll see every single year, but if you've been going to the same convention for 5 years and the same build has been there for 5 years and nothing's changed on it, it gets a little bit old. So I'd really recommend that if you're building MOCs, like build it, make it big, bring it once, maybe do the circuit of LEGO conventions that year, take it to every one, but then maybe use those pieces to build something else. I'm not a MOC builder, so that's very easy for me to say and not actually do, but I'm just thinking in terms of keeping the LEGO conventions interesting and exciting. It's sometimes helpful to not have the same builds there year over year. And there we have it, you guys. Those are pretty much all the things that I recommend that you bring to your first LEGO convention, and of course some tips and tricks for displaying LEGO MOCs. A lot of the things I mentioned in today's video are things that I actually just noticed and experienced firsthand from attending so many LEGO conventions over the years, and they are a lot of fun, but they definitely require a lot of prep work. As I mentioned at the start of this video, if there's something that you can think of to bring to a LEGO convention that I haven't mentioned yet, please let me know down in the comments below. And of course, anyone out there who's a more seasoned MOC builder and MOC displayer than I am, please let me know down in the comments below if you have any additional tips for MOCs that I haven't mentioned yet, just because I want to make sure I have my bases covered. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe. If you haven't seen part number 1 yet of me explaining what a LEGO convention is, definitely go check it out. And of course, stay tuned for next week for part number 3 of all the things that you need to know, the ultimate LEGO convention one-on-one guide.